Hey y'all, it's Elizabeth Weimiller, and we have a new month upon us. So we are headed into March of 2025. Yes, 2025 is already flying by. And March is going to be a lot. There's a lot going on in March. We have a lot happening. It's not necessarily that there's a lot of days that it's happening on. They're all kind of condensed days, but we do have a lot of activity in March. So the old expression of March coming in like a lion and going out with like a lamb, well, is going to come in like a lion most likely, but it's not necessarily going to go out like a lamb. It may go out a bit like a lion. So let's just go ahead and jump right in and see what March has in store. So we are starting the month, March 1st. Venus, the planet of love that everybody loves, will be stationing to turn retrograde. Venus will be retrograde until April 12th. This can be a time when some people find themselves questioning or reevaluating their love life. So, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're single, married, whatever the case may be, don't make any decisions over the next month and a half-ish. So March 1st to April 12th, I think basically a month and a half. It can be a time where kind of like you find some things reverse. So if you're single and you've really been craving a relationship, you may suddenly during this time be like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm gonna stay single and I'm gonna enjoy it. Or if you're in a relationship, you may be like, oh, I really wish I was single. So again, just don't make any rash decisions. If you are single, I do not recommend starting any relationships under Venus retrograde. It's not a time they tend to succeed. It's not a great time to get married. If you're getting married under Venus retrograde, I tend to see a lot of divorces happen when people marry under Venus retrograde. I'm not saying all the time, but I have seen it happen. Um, it can be a time, however, where you find some old loves from the past come back into your life. I've seen this happen as well, including in my own life years ago. Didn't know it at the time because I wasn't quite as into astrology at that point. But when I went back and looked at the dates, sure enough, Venus was retrograde, and that's when somebody came back in. And when they come back, it's a time where you either have unresolved issues you need to work through and heal during this time, or it may be that you've already kind of worked through those issues and they're meant to come back into your life for a reason, for a purpose, and stay there. So just be very open-minded. Know Venus is retrograde. Know there's a lot going on. Know that, you know, if you're married and you're having issues may bubble to the surface during this Venus retrograde. Really take this time to heal those issues, work through them with your spouse. Don't just give up. Um, but with that being said, communication is always also going to get a little funky because Mercury is also going to be retrograde in March. So, as I said, we have a lot going on. Mercury is going to go retrograde in the middle of March. I will give you those dates in a little bit, but just know, you know, pay attention to this video. If you get my newsletter, pay attention to the dates in the newsletter, because there's going to be better times to communicate than others. Once Mercury goes retrograde with that Venus retrograde, things could get a little, a little haywire. So keep that in mind. But again, don't make any final decisions until after April 12th. Don't jump into any relationships if you're single. Just go with the flow of the next month and a half, because we've got a lot of other stuff going on as well. Also, on March 1st, we are going to have the conjunction of Mercury and Rahu. And I forgot to mention Venus will be retrograde in Pisces, because I use sidereal calculations. Mercury and Rahu will also be in Pisces, and they will be conjunct on March 1st. And you know, that's going to stir up a lot of energy. So at that time, communication may be more heightened. It could be a time where some become more obsessive about certain ideas, information, or topics. It can bring kind of an exaggeration to some, whether it be the media or people talking or whatever the case. Things can get exaggerated under that Mercury Rahu conjunction. So just be mindful and don't jump to any conclusions immediately about this. And again, Venus is also stationary on March 1st. So March 1st has a lot going on. I know you're getting this on the 27th, 28th. February is a short month. I tried to do what I could do, but I can only do so much. Then we jump to March 11th when the sun's going to be conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, at 27 degrees of Aquarius. This is a time to really work hard, show discipline in your choices, and to have patience. One of the things that I really want you to do is go ahead and put your patience pants on. Like, I will literally sit here and wait for you to do that. I will give you a couple seconds because having your patience pants on is going to be critical over the next, I would say March and April. It's going to be critical. So just go ahead and put them on, get comfy, maybe buy a second pair so you can switch them out if need be, but put them on because you're going to need them. So this Sun Saturn conjunction on March 11th, um, if you put those patient pans on, you shouldn't have any issues having patience. One of the things with this, don't overcommit. Be sure that you're going to meet all your responsibilities. You could find that you end up having to take on extra responsibilities or act as a mentor to others. And there could be, for some people, you may have a feeling of like more insecurity. So just know it's it's there. Don't overthink it. For those of you that are overthinkers, I know there are some of you. Just try to meditate, go within, breathe. Retrogrades, great time to reassess, go within, do all of that. March 14th, we have a full moon, which is going to be at 29 degrees of Leo. It is also a lunar eclipse. It is a time to be more open-minded and receptive to what comes to you. It can be a time when you find some emotions and subconscious patterns being revealed. This lunar eclipse, it's like an extreme supermoon. So just know it's going to be very strong energy. It's at that 29-degree mark of Leo. So it's in Leo, but the node, which is helping cause the lunar eclipse, is in Virgo. So yes, it's just know K2 will be involved. So there may be a spiritual aspect, easy for me to say, spiritual aspect to this full moon. But it can be a really great time to cleanse our emotions and set ourselves up for emotional success over the coming months. But inner transformation, renewal, big keys with this. Later in the day on March 14th, the sun is going to enter Pisces. So if you've heard, Venus is in Pisces, Neptune's already in Pisces, Rahu's in Pisces, sun's going to be entering Pisces, Mercury's in Pisces. We have a lot stacking up in Pisces. So the sun transits into Pisces on March 14th. It's kind of a time of introspection and self-reflection. We can find people focusing more on their inner world, which can be even more true with the retrogrades happening in Pisces with the sun. It's a great time for creative pursuits, engaging in spiritual practices, and it can be a period when you have an easier time letting go of the past. So keep that in mind. But again, there's going to be a lot of this going on. You could find yourself reflecting on like relationships and past communications given the Venus retrograde there. Now, that's March 14th. March 15th, everyone's favorite trickster, little Mercury, is going to station to turn retrograde. So I mentioned earlier that it was going to retrograde. It is March 15th. Mercury stations to turn retrograde, and it's going to be that way until April 7th. So just know communication could have delays and setbacks, especially around relationships with the Venus retrograde. There could be travel delays, there could be technology potential issues. So make sure your computers are backed up, make sure things are working, keep an eye on things. Remember those patience pants that I had you put on? Highly important, highly, highly important, because on top of all this, Mars is still in Gemini, the sign of Mercury, which means people will have even less patience while driving and they'll drive more aggressively. So everything's coming together. There could be more accidents during this time. Just patience. Leave extra time to get places. Don't be aggressive while driving. Just use patience. So again, this Mercury retrograde is with a Venus retrograde, both in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is Venus's strongest sign and Mercury's weakest sign. So they kind of offset each other, but what does this mean? It means communication and relationships could go a little haywire. All types of relationships. This is even more so depending on what house this is in for you. And I will say, Virgos, this is happening in your seventh house of relationships. So definitely for you, this is really going to be key. It is a time to really check for understanding in all communication, make sure it's understood on both sides, make sure there's understanding. It's getting on the same page, coming to agreements. I would say don't make any big commitments between March 1st and probably April 15th. Just don't make any big commitments. But otherwise, go with the flow. And, Mercury is going to be in Pisces until May 6th at that point. So, again, only retrograde until April 7th. March 15th to April 7th is Mercury retrograde. But there you go. Now, the other big thing happening this month is March 29th is going to be a big day in the stars. Lots of stuff going on. So we start March 29th with a solar eclipse at 14 degrees of Pisces, which that point is going to be critical because as planets pass over it, that eclipse degree, they will trigger events. And we are going to have Mercury and Venus transit that point 3 times because of their retrograde motion. So just think about that. Um, supercharged new moon. Solar eclipses are very spiritual and they can be great for like spiritual advancement, especially in the watery sign of Pisces, which is the natural 12th house of the zodiac and is all about spirituality. But they're a great time to meditate and go within, especially since eclipses can be a time of lower energy. They always say it's not good to watch the eclipse, that can actually bring out more problems by actually physically watching it in the Vedic tradition. So keep that in mind if you are somewhere where it is visible. But they can really indicate eclipses can be a turning point. They can be the beginning of a new cycle. Eclipses can affect us for up to 6 months after they occur until the next eclipse happens. So it's just really important to not make any major decisions around March 29th. One of the things is that because the sun is being blocked out during an eclipse, it can sometimes bring up fear, it can bring up illusion and paranoia. Try to ignore these thoughts during this time and don't act on them because they will tend to dissipate once this energy clears. And this is even more true because Neptune is also going to be involved in the solar eclipse because of the stack up of planets in Pisces. So just know a lot's going to transform with this eclipse because there are so many planets in Pisces right now. And that's just how the stars are working. And if anybody's been paying attention, I've said we're going through periods of transformation and change. So this is just another trigger for transformation and change and working to the other side. Eclipses will be more powerful for those who are in their Sun, Rahu, or Ketu, dasha or subdasha. So just know that. And if you have any natal planets within 5 degrees of the eclipse degree, 5 ahead, 5 behind, opposite, 5 ahead, 5 behind, those are the planets that are going to be impacted. And then the house the eclipse is happening in will also be impacted. And if you want insight in that, I have posted to below in this newsletter, or on my website, I have posted what the eclipse may bring for each of the 12 signs, on top of what to expect in March as well for each of the 12 signs. So you're kind of getting double this month. Other big thing, March 29th, Saturn is going to transit into Pisces. Again, Pisces, lots of Pisces. And it's going to stay in Pisces until 2027. So it's finishing its stay in Aquarius. Again, I use sidereal calculations. So in sidereal, Saturn enters Pisces on March 29th, and it will stay there pretty much until 2027. Then it kind of goes in and out a little bit in 2027, and then it leaves for good the end of 2027 into Aries. But just know that's happening. I'm going to do a more detailed newsletter on Saturn transits of Pisces in mid-March, so stay tuned. If you don't follow the newsletter, I put a link below to sign up as well. So again, we've got that stack in Pisces. When Saturn enters Pisces on March 29th, we're going to have Mercury, Venus, the node of the moon, Rahu, Saturn, Sun, Neptune in Pisces. So whatever house that rolls for you is the house that expects some change, expects some transformation, expect some activity in that area of your life. With Saturn's entry into Pisces, we also are going to begin a period that is called Kalasarpa Yoga until July 28th, once Mars transits into Virgo at that point, which will break the cycle of Kalasarpa. Kalasarpa it brings extreme highs, it brings extreme lows. For those that have this signature in their birth chart, I have found their life is a bit of extremes. So their highs are really high, their lows are really low, but every time they hit a low, they go to a whole new high. So just know this period is going to be up and down. It's going to be extreme. We may get slight reprieves as the moon breaks this cycle every 2 weeks, but it's still a period of intensity, especially after the eclipse in Pisces. So, again, there's potential for the beginning of a lot of transformation. It's going to come down to how you view it, it's going to come down to how you face it. The only thing we can control is our choices, actions, and thoughts. And transformation can be positive. I think it gets a really bad reputation, but transformation can be good. It's moving us forward, it's moving the world forward. And sometimes it doesn't feel comfortable or even positive when in the long term we look back and go, that really helped. So, as I've said in previous newsletters, and I'm going to continue to say it, I say it to all of my clients. This is a period of extended transformation. It's a period to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and go with the flow, ride the waves as they come. And the more you flex and go with the flow, the easier things are going to be this year and moving forward. The more rigid and tied to there being only one right way of things and one right way things can be done, the more difficult things are going to be. So ride that wave, go with the flow, and you'll be in a better position. With that being said, let's take a look at the 12 signs for March and see what high level you can expect. Again, these are broad high level. I don't know where your planets are natally, and I don't know what dashas you're in, et cetera, et cetera. I always recommend looking at your ascendant or rising sign. Those two are interchangeable, and your moon sign to give full insight into what the potential may have. Aries, this can be a great month to start working out. You're going to have more physical energy and your strength is going to be higher. Really let your inner child out to play. Enjoy the most of life. Do it with a little caution, but use this time to express yourself, whether it be through music, through dance, writing, athletics, whatever it is. For you, one of the keys is it's going to be very important to stay calm during your communications. Be that voice of calm and reason, but don't hog attention. If you find yourself getting angry in communications, take a step back, ask to resume the meeting later once you've calmed down, because you can be a little bit more argumentative this month. So be very cognizant not to get into pointless arguments just because you're feeling feisty. And one of the other things for you is if you have siblings, don't pick fights with them. So it can be a great month to focus on selling and so self-promotion. And you do have the ability to work longer hours, especially on more intellectual tasks this month. Taurus, you will find that you are more direct this month. And with that directness comes the need to watch what you say. Being more direct can be very beneficial, but it can also get you in trouble. So it's how you say it, it's how you frame it. So think through your audience. It can, for you, be a time when you're more impulsive with your spending. Be mindful to stick to a budget. If you haven't checked in on your budget in a while, I highly recommend you check into your budget and reassess and stick to it. It's a month to stay very grounded, not get into material egotism. And it's a month that you may enjoy taking short courses to learn new information. So one of the other things is to just take that time, sit down, don't eat on the go, because the more you eat on the go, you have potential for digestive upset. Gemini, you are going to have more ambition and energy to accomplish your goals and to tackle things on your to-do lists that have been hanging over your head. You're going to feel more able to tackle tasks that have seemed overwhelming before. You have the ability to complete unfinished projects more efficiently. Be sure to take advantage of this opportunity. You will make a great first impression on others during this time, so use that positively. And one of the things is with that ability to do things more quickly, you are going to be a little bit more accident prone. So just be mindful. Don't text and walk. Don't do things like that. Leave extra time while driving. Kind of pace yourself this month so you don't burn yourself out. And then also really watch your temper and take a breath before reacting on impulse. Cancer, this could be a more frustrating month for you where you don't seem to get credit for anything you do. It can be a time when it's better to work alone as much as possible. When you're at work, just be careful with who you share your confidence with, because others may try to use it against you. And just make sure you keep your home protected this month. So it's not trying to scare you, but don't leave like windows unlocked or doors unlocked. And then for you, it can also be a great month to kind of get ahead of credit cards and credit card debt. Take a look at your finances, reassess your budget as needed, keep it front of mind, especially if you haven't checked in a while. For you, you may find that sleep is a little more disturbed, a little more restless. You may find yourself waking up a little more tired, but for you, this is a passing influence unless your natal chart says otherwise, at which point you wouldn't know unless you've had a natal consult with me, which I have linked below. Leo, the energy is working in your favor to create your goals and actively pursue them this month. You will be able to achieve your goals by working collaboratively with others. And this month may see your cash flow really increase as opportunities present themselves to you. It's a month to get out, socialize with your friends. It's going to be important to watch your back because there could be people that pretend to be your friend that don't really have your best interest at heart. One of the keys this month, avoid get rich quick schemes. Somebody will get rich. It will not be you. And really, I always say if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So keep that in mind, and know that if you loan money to your friends, it will not be a loan. It will be a gift. So write it off and just know you won't see it again. Virgo, you will be more ambitious this month and have the ability to make progress towards the objectives you have set for yourself. It's a good time to promote yourself. It may be making it known what projects you have accomplished at work or a project you're working on. The key for you is take action this month. Don't overthink decisions to the point of missing out on opportunities. It's important to remember to respect your boss. And it can be a great month to kind of consider your career path, what you see as next steps, kind of start making a plan and implementing on it. And if you are considering asking for promotion, it could be a good month, but be sure to gauge your employer's reactions before making demands. So, um, again, maybe not a great month given the Venus and Mercury retrograde, but that's trust your gut on some things. Libra, this is a lucky month for you. You're going to feel more inspired, but at the same time, you may not feel you can trust your inner knowing. It's important to remember to trust your heart and your gut. If there's anybody that's been controlling you or trying to control you and tell you how to live your life, this is a great month to break those ties and move forward. You may find that authority figures will come across as demanding your attention and respect, but be aware their motivations may be unclear or hidden. Also, for you, try not to pick any fights with your boss or father, because the outcome will not be in your favor or favorable in general. And for you, you may find like a quick trip could be very gratifying during this time, but recognize there could be delays with Mercury retrograde. Scorpio, this month can be one of transformation, created by, you know, some confrontation or something that happens. So be open. As I said, go with the flow. This conflict that could potentially create this transformation could force you to re-examine your position. It can be more subtle. It could be more blatant. It's kind of going to depend on your unique chart and everything else going on. But again, these are broad, high level. You may find that support may come more quickly this month, whether it be help from others or in the form of money. You may find you're more curious about a topic that leads you to dig deeper and learn more. And your mind's going to be full of ideas and insights. So be sure, keep a piece of paper, write them down. Don't let them pass you by, because you won't remember them otherwise. You may feel more worried and vulnerable during this month, but it will pass unless your natal chart says otherwise. For you also, it's really great. Could be a great month. Check in on your health. Health issues could surface, so catch them early, but it can be a great month to do a cleanse or a detox for your health. Sagittarius, your passion will be higher between you and your partner during this month, whether marriage or business partner. Be mindful that if it feels like your partner is attacking your character, that you let them release steam, as they're likely projecting anger at others on you. So don't take it personal. It's going to be important to remain calm, cool, collected, and allow for a favorable outcome for you. Really, a key is avoiding creating unnecessary conflict. Focus for you on projects that can be completed quickly this month because you're going to have that energy to get them done, and really pay extra attention to the detail of contracts and agreements that you're signing this month. Capricorn, take the initiative to improve yourself and your skills. You can accomplish more this month and you'll take pride in how much work you can get done. There can be more tension and aggression at work, which can leave you feeling uncomfortable. It can be a good month to begin that exercise regime you've been talking about. Stop talking and do, even if you build slowly. It's those baby steps. And it's that exercise is going to help you release any tension that's been building up. You may find that you are more prone to overheating or getting sick this month. So just be mindful, put your health first, make sure you're getting enough sleep, as well as you may find that if you have pets, health problems could surface and they may be more costly this month. Aquarius, it's going to be really important for you to make time to have fun this month. It can be playing with your kids, getting out, doing something fun, and getting together with your friends, or getting together with your friends and or be cautious because you can be more competitive this month, which can bring good and bad. You may find that inspiration is going to come from unexpected places or completely out of the blue, but you're really going to feel you have that clearer vision during this period. So just take advantage of it. Use this month to show your passion, but don't make any rash decisions. Take the time to cool down and sleep on them. And as I said, with everything else going on with the retrogrades, just push decisions. Write down pros and cons, think through them, but don't jump on anything right now. Be mindful that you may not have as much discipline this month to complete the things that you don't really want to do. So don't overcommit to things that you know won't happen. Pisces, this can be a great month to make sure your home has a positive flow of energy and that there's nothing that is stagnating the energy. It's going to be important to maintain your responsibilities to family, work, and any education you may be doing. There can be some tension around your home with arguments and disagreements. Step back, wait till any of those tensions have calmed before having that conversation, especially once Mercury goes retrograde on March 15th, because they're going to get even more convoluted potentially. For you, it's going to be important to get your car checked out to avoid any expensive problems later and also use caution while driving. It could kind of, for you, be fun to add some new fun accessory to your home, but you can be more prone to impulsive behavior this month. So, again, take your time in making decisions. I would usually say wait a few days, but given everything else going on, I would probably wait till middle of April to fully make any decisions. But start writing that pros and cons list, really think through it and see where things go. That is your March high level insights for each of the 12 signs. And it's also a high level look at March, the happenings up in the stars. I think it's going to be an interesting March. I think it's going to be an interesting start to April. I think this is going to be a period we look back on and say that was a turning point on things. So just really go with the flow, ride the wave, get comfortable being uncomfortable. There's still a part of this. You still have to live life. We still have free will. Don't let fear or anything take over because we are all on our unique journeys. But with that being said, stay tuned. There's a few things if you're a subscriber that you will get your email because you'll get the Saturn information. If you go to my blog, you can read what the eclipses can indicate for each of the 12 signs based on the house it's happening in for them. So I will link. I will link. I will link the spot to sign up for the newsletter below. I will also link a spot to book a personal consultation with me if you choose. And then just stay tuned and I'll be back, as I said, mid-March with the Saturn transit into Pisces. And then I will be back to talk about April of 2025. So stay tuned, subscribe, and I hope everybody has a wonderful, productive March and goes with the flow and just get comfortable being uncomfortable. And until then, I will see all of you later.